Hey, everyone, welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered. We're informed, unfiltered, and unmatched. At Encinas Unfiltered, you can expect raw takes, real talk, and sports like you haven't heard before. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And as a reminder, we still have our membership program through YouTube. We're running a special until February. So the day of the Super Bowl, day of the game, that's it. 99 cents, you can get our legend tier. What a legend tier is, essentially you get early access to shorts, early access to videos. You'll get discounts on merch, and you'll also get access to our Discord, or we have a lot of different sports. We got MMA, boxing, baseball, basketball, gaming, fantasy football advice, you name it. Everything goes and runs through there. So check it out. 99 cents a month for life. You can't beat it. If you're interested in merch, you can check that out and then link it in our description. I'm still working on integrating it with Shopify, so just give me a little bit, but eventually it will be integrated into Shopify and you can just buy it directly from YouTube on there. So every week I remind you guys about Fantasy Royale. Well, Fantasy Royale is done through week 18. So now it's going to switch up and it's going to be a playoff bracket challenge. So it's a little different, but still kind of the same premise. So you fill out your bracket, and if you get everything correct, there's a $10,000 grand prize. There's also many other prizes scattered throughout that bracket. You get into the bracket to win a set of golf clubs, to win lawn furniture, to win barbecues, to win food, to win, retro apparel. There's all kinds of different contests there. So the website is www.fantasyroyale.fun. So check that out. Definitely worth it. And you can check the link in the description, and I will put that link in there for you guys to go ahead and join. Also, as a reminder, we have our fantasy football draft episode in August of 2026. So Xavier and I will be filming that. We might have a couple special guests as well. We haven't really determined that. It's a little far in the future, but this is just a reminder for everybody that it's going to be available before your drafts. So look out for that before your big draft nights in 2026. Also, we have filmed our great debate, and that is on me. I am lagging on getting that edited. It's been a little busy with the holidays and whatnot, but that will be edited and will be available for members, like I said, in the YouTube promotion for us for our membership program first, and then it'll eventually be rolled out to the public. And that is Cam Ward versus Shador Sanders. So our lovely co-host here, Xavier, went ahead and obviously, as you can see his attire, debated for Cam Ward. And then we had the boy Hayden, who came on and glazed up Shador like he always does. So it was definitely a lot of fun. Look out for that. And if you guys like it, we're going to come out with some more. I don't know exactly what. We're not necessarily going to stick to football. We can do a little bit of everything. I will probably stay away from politics, but I definitely will be down for sports related debates, whether it's Michael Jordan and LeBron or, stuff like that, stuff of that nature. So,
right.
In today's episode, we're going to be doing a week 18 recap. We're going to look at week 18's games and how the playoffs essentially was determined based on some of those matchups. Then we're going to get into Black Monday. And if you're not sure what Black Monday is, that's when that's the Monday after the season's over and all the coaches start getting fired. So Xavier's actually going to run through all that and tell you who got fired and talk about some of the news from Monday. And it's actually Monday and Tuesday from what I remember. There's kind of little trinkles here and there of more guys getting fired. So it'll be interesting to see how that shook up.
We also did some of the earlier in the year as well. Just to
I just think it's good to show what teams have open head coaching positions going into the 2026 season. The next segment, we're going to have an NFL playoff brackets, and we haven't done that since last year, obviously. So Xavier and I will be making separate brackets. I'll be doing the clicking here, but of who we think how the playoffs is going to shape up and who's going to win the Super Bowl. So that's a lot of fun. I think last year we did that with Bebo as well, from what I remember, but don't quote me. Or maybe it was Colby. But we're still going to do that. And then we're going to have our NFL Wildcard weekend football bets. So we're going to look at the money line, total points, over, under, and our spread, which is our plus and minus. And the very end, we're going to get into some hot takes. And like last week, Xavier is going to have his set of hot takes, and I'm going to have a set of my hot takes or questions. And we would like you guys to interact with those and maybe agree or disagree or debate in the comments. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and we'll see a bunch of different perspectives on some of the things that we believe. So let's get into our NFL Week 18 recap. So big game Saturday. We had the Bucs beat the Panthers 16-14. So I'm going to do it chronologically because I know people are like, well, you already knew what happened. I'm like, trust me, it's going to just sound better chronologically. So that's why I'm going to do it. So the Bucs beat the Panthers 16-14. So the Panthers now, with a loss, need Atlanta to beat the Saints in order to win the NFC South and get the playoff seed number 4 for the NFC. The Seahawks then beat the 49ers 13-3 in a pretty underwhelming game. To me, it was to both sides. Obviously, I'm a Niners fan, but there wasn't a whole lot. It was a great defense. I would say San Francisco's defense played a lot better. I mean, maybe not rushing. They gave a lot of rushing yards, but just in general, considering how hurt they are, I was pretty impressed given the circumstances. But now the NFC is played through Seattle, which is going to be tough. You got that Legion of Boom, 12-man. Well, Legion of Boom, we'll call it 2.0. I wouldn't say they're exactly Legion of Boom, but You got the 12 man still there. It's going to be pretty tough. That's going to be pretty tough to beat Seattle and Seattle. But they won the NFC West. They got the number 1 seed. And as a result, the San Francisco will now either have the 5 or the 6 seed, depending on if the Rams lose or win. So, and we'll get into that as we get through the games of how they happened throughout the week during our recap. Then the Texans beat the Colts 38-30. A lot closer than I thought. Not going to lie. Riley Leonard doesn't look too bad. I'll say that. Not too shabby. Definitely not Phillip Rivers, but, hey, a lot younger, maybe a little quicker. Maybe a couple t-shirt sizes a little smaller too. But the Texans needed the win to keep their playoff seed, and they won. But it was still a pretty close game, and it was really interesting to see what Riley Leonard had. And I think that was like the biggest takeaway from that game, in my opinion. Next, we had the Browns beat the Bengals 20-18. Honestly, didn't see that happening. I thought Joe Burrow was just going to light it up. But congratulations to Myles Garrett. He's now the all-time sacks leader. Michael Strahan was a little, what's the word? He was a little salty. He's like, well, I did it in 16 games, not 17 games. Well, it is what it is. Myles Garrett is now the leader in sacks, so congratulations to him. And he should be the MVP, in my opinion. But, they don't give it to anybody that's not a quarterback. So next, the Falcons. So this is the big game. The Falcons beat the Saints 19-17. So with the win, the Bucs are eliminated, who I think Xavier and I both said probably were the better team going to the playoffs, so the Panthers were. But now Carolina was in NFC South and has a number 4 seed. So now they play the 5 seed. Pretty it was a pretty interesting game. A lot of repercussions on the divisional rival to knock you out of the playoffs. Man,
no kidding.
It's rough. Next we had the Vikings beat the Packers 16-3. Not surprised. Green Bay rested a lot of their starters. They weren't really playing for anything. They already had the 7th seed. So they're going to be good to go against the 2 seed, who at this moment, based on the chronological order of the games, we don't know who that is because we had to see the Eagles and the Bears play. So next, the Jags smoked the Titans. Sorry, Xavier. 41-7. Cam Ward got hurt. You might have a different opinion. As a competitor, I understand, but I think from a healthy perspective, why did he even play at that point? Was it really worth it? We'll see into going to next year if he misses any more time. Sounds like he won't, but still, I just don't think it's worth it if you're not playing for anything.
You want to, because at the same time too, you got to remember that you're looking for a head coach. So you're trying to entice other coaches to be like, you know what? I want to work with that guy. So, and he's a rookie. You want to develop him, and the best development that you're going to get is out of a game.
The Giants beat the Cowboys 34-17. Honestly, I thought the Cowboys would show up a little more, knowing that the Giants kind of needed the higher draft pick, but the Giants have a higher draft pick. So way to go, guys. You guys do it every year. I think there was not a conspiracy, but there was a rumbling because Theo Johnson, their tight end, was at a Knicks game and they're like, hey, this guy's out with an illness. Why is he at a basketball game? So all those, tanking rumors started floating, and they got the win. So I guess there's nothing to investigate there regardless. Next, the Rams beat the Cardinals 37-20. So now the Rams have the number 5 seed, and they play Carolina, which I think is a pretty good matchup for them. Not going to lie. Even though they beat them, I think they'll be okay. The Raiders beat their Chiefs 14-12. But they already had the number 1 pick at this point, so this didn't really matter.
Right.
But they got the number 1 pick. Hey, Francisco Mendoza, welcome to the Raiders. Feel bad for your kid, but you got to start somewhere, I guess. So the Commanders beat the Eagles 24-17. Honestly, I was surprised. The Eagles kind of needed a win here to keep the seed and keep everything going. But by the football gods, they lost to a divisional opponent. I guess we can't be that surprised. Could have been the number 2 seed, but now they're the number 3 seed. And we'll tell you why in a second, because we'll get to the Bears game and tell you the result of that one. Next, the Patriots beat the Dolphins 38-10. This should have happened, and they remain the number 2 seed in the AFC. So kudos to them. Drake May is definitely in the MVP conversation. He looked pretty good as well. Then we had the Lions beat the Bears 19-16. That wasn't on my my bucket list or my list of items of things that I thought were going to happen.
Bingo card.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be on my bingo card for week 18. I thought they'd kind of be like, who cares at this point? They came to play. They remain the number 2 seed now with the Eagles loss. So, they would have been the 3 seed and would have had to play San Francisco. So, I guess that's good for them. But either way, they play the Packers now and with the number 2 seed. And that's going to get really interesting because I would not want to play a divisional opponent in your first game of the playoffs because those can be funky. Can be really, really funky. So, and we'll get into our predictions later on all of those games. Next, the Broncos beat the Herbertless Chargers 19-3, and I emphasize the Herbertless. Herbert did not play, so it's not surprising. Denver is the number 1 seed, and the AFC plays through Denver. That home field advantage is going to be nice. I'll tell you that. Denver plays pretty good in Denver. So,
yeah.
Next, the Bills beat the Jets 35-8. This is what was supposed to happen. Doesn't matter if it was backups. The Jets have nobody. I believe Breece Hall sat out as well. Trubisky tore it up. I am the QB whisperer, but I don't know if I would say he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he looked good. So, and then the last game, which this game is, man, I feel bad for the boys here. So the Steelers beat the Ravens 26-24, while your boy Xavier and I were gaming, playing some Diablo 4. tell the audience like it is. We're hitting those runs. I remember we were playing and we see a notification on my phone. So the Steelers missed the go-ahead extra point. So they're up by 2. The Ravens go down. No time left. Kick a 44-yard field goal. It misses. Went right. End of the game. Season's over. Rookie kicker. Poor Tyler Loop. The Steelers win the AFC North, have the number 4 seed, and they play Houston. That's going to be tough because that defense is tough. Offense, man, but defense is going to be tough. So,
no matter who was coming out of the AFC North, they weren't going to go far. It wasn't going to matter.
Right. They've been pretty weak this year with Burrow being hurt and Lamar being hurt and stuff. So, but that was the recap for week 18. Obviously, our recaps are going to get a lot shorter now. The games are going to be a lot significantly less, or there's not as many anymore. Next, we have Black Monday, which I kind of talked about at the top of the show. It's our coaching and staff firing day. Kind of rolled into Tuesday, maybe a little bit of Wednesday. And as the weeks kind of go on, obviously more will happen. But Black Monday is the biggest one. Everyone talks about it. All the big letter networks, I'll call them that rather than saying their names. They talk about it. So, Xavier, go ahead and let us know what happened, not only on Black Monday, but also throughout the season, because I know there's a couple teams that do have some head coach openings. So,
yes. So, starting in October, we had the old Titans fire their head coach, Brian Callahan, after 2 seasons. He was 4-19 at his tenure there. In November, the New York Giants fired Brian Dable. 3.5 seasons. He went 20-40 and 1 tie. And had 1 playoff appearance.
Okay.
Then the Giants also fired their defense coordinator, Shane Bowen. He had about 1 season, maybe 2 seasons there. For some reason, some of these seasons to find how long they've been there was a struggle. I don't know why, but it was. So then going into December, the Rams fire their special teams coach, Chase Blackburn, after 3 seasons. Apparently that was a Sean McVay decision, which apparently the front office backed. So it is what it is there. New York Jets fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, after 1 season. I mean, you could say 1 season, he didn't even make it.
Not even a full one.
Yeah.
That's wild. Poor
guy.
A
little rough there. Yeah. So now we're going to start to get into the big. These are kind of the big firings. So January, right, this month, Washington fired their offense coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, after 2 seasons, as well as their defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr. Miami fired their GM, Chris Grier, after 10 seasons. He went 77-80, 3 playoff appearances. Detroit fired their offensive coordinator, John Morton, after 1 season. Dallas fired the defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, after 1 season. Arizona's head coach fired him, Jonathan Gannon. 3 seasons. He went 15-36.
Rough.
That's a rough one. Las Vegas fired their head coach, Pete Carroll, after 1 season. 3-14. Cleveland, who would have thought, fired their head coach, Kevin Stefanski. 6 seasons he was there. 45-56. His record was 1-2 in playoffs. Only coach to win in playoffs since 1999.
God. Oh my God. That's wild.
Just a little caveat of that. And in his time there, he also won 2 Coach of the Year awards in 2020 and 2023. But, what are you going to do when you have a bad quarterback? Your entire depth chart is a bad quarterback. So, hey, whatever. He'll be successful somewhere else with, a better quarterback. Atlanta fired their GM, Terry Fontenot, 5 seasons. He was 37-48. They also fired their head coach, Raheem Morris, 2 seasons. He was 16-18.
I do want to point out that the GM is the one that went ahead and drafted Michael Penix after they had just signed Kirk Cousins to a giant extension.
He had to explain that to the owner.
Right. And Raheem Morris is known for benching Kirk Cousins. Obviously, he was still hurt with that Achilles injury, but it wasn't a good look for them when Kirk Cousins went out there and kind of just balled out. I mean, he didn't really have anybody besides Kyle Pitts at that point, and he balled out. So I think that was kind of the writing on the wall for them. But still a good team. Still a good young team. I will say that. Pretty promising destination, in my opinion.
Right. And then you got the big one.
Yeah.
From Baltimore, the big man himself, the head coach, John Harbaugh. 18 seasons with a record of 180 wins, 113 losses, 12 playoff appearances, 4 AFC titles, and 1 Super Bowl win.
It's wild. It's wild considering you have a guy who's a Super Bowl winning head coach, could potentially be a Hall of Fame head coach, in my opinion, possibly. I think he's definitely a candidate. This is the only guy that went positive out of everyone that was fired. This is the guy that in his tenure is positive. Man. All because Lamar, I think they were having an issue with a QB coach or something like that, and John Harbaugh didn't want to budge. And that's kind of what it felt. It was like a falling out.
That's what it seemed like, yeah.
But I will say this, and I will say this later, like the prime age for a running quarterback is 28 to 31. So it was pretty interesting in my opinion, but nonetheless,
there was a lot of, there were some that deserved to be fired, but there were others that not at all.
I think even though Pete Carroll, I think that's my big one. I think Pete Carroll only had 1 season.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Yeah, we'll get into it later. I'll cut all that. But that's the end of our Black Monday. Well, ish. We have before season, and as of filming today, which is January 7th, that is what has happened. Obviously, more might come out by the time the episode is posted. But just some things to think about. All right. So every year before the playoffs officially start, we like to do our bracket where we like to make a prediction to determine who's going to win and who we think is going to win. In an ideal world, I can get 20 people on here, go live on TikTok, go live on YouTube Live, and get people to start talking about it. But that would be a little hard and distracting. Maybe that's something we can do later. But as of filming for today, we're just going to give you our 2 opinions and kind of go from there. So I'm going to let Xavier go first. So Xavier, let's start with let's do the NFC first. So,
all right. So Bears in Green Bay.
Yes, sir. Who do you got?
I'm going to go
game?
Bears.
All right. You got Bears. Next, you got Eagles and 49ers. Who do you got?
Eagles.
Then you got Panthers and Rams. Who do you got?
Rams.
Okay. It automatically seats for you. That's really cool. I really do enjoy that. So next we got Patriots versus Chargers. Who you got in that game?
Patriots, no question.
Then we got Jacksonville versus Bills. Who do you got in that game?
I actually got Buffalo.
Buffalo away, huh? Wow.
Yep, I think Lawrence chokes.
Oh, man. I think he does it later, but all right. Next, you got Steelers and Houston. Who do you got?
So.
Come on.
No. I heard it got leaked out that the Steelers win it. So I'm going Steelers.
What?
Oh, yeah.
The script came out?
Yeah.
That's
the
wild.
Script came out, dude.
Oh, that's wild.
I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
Right. Who you got between Seattle and Los Angeles?
Seattle.
Wow. Okay. We got the Bears and the Eagles.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me just explain really quick. Just a little caveat. I just want to put it on the table.
All right.
The Seahawks run defense has faced Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Rico Dowdle, and Christian McCaffrey in the last 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They have allowed 0 runs of 12+ yards.
Wow.
And that is a stacked list, boys. Besides the Bijan Robinson.
He's good. Stop. The best young piece in Atlanta right now. But who do you got between the Bears and the Eagles?
Bears.
Whoa, that's wild. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Then you got Broncos and Bills. Who do you got?
Bills.
Wow. Okay. And then you got Patriots and Steelers.
Patriots.
Okay. Then you got Seattle and Chicago. Who do you got?
Seattle.
Okay, I was about to say I'm gonna lose my stuff right now.
No way.
Okay, and then Buffalo and Patriots.
I have to go
rematch.
Patriots. I have to go Patriots.
Who do you got for the Super Bowl?
Seattle.
Wow, that's wild, bro. Man.
So leave it just for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it.
So the reason why I like the Bears going as far as they do is because to me, they're a pretty complete team. Now, if I think the Bears would have went against Seattle, I think they would have lost, right? As I already said. So they would have lost sooner, in my opinion. The Rams are the more complete team, but they win against Seattle early. So that's why. And nonetheless, too, I mean, I don't think San Francisco beats the Eagles in any world. Carolina obviously doesn't deserve to be there, but they're just there out of pity. You know, they got a participation
8-9,
trophy.
dude. They're 8-9. It's wild.
Yeah, okay. So all those other teams, to me, and the Eagles, in my opinion, aren't playing at the level that they should be to compete with these 3 to 4 other teams that are there. So that's why, to me, Seattle is playing sound enough football. And I know everybody's like, well, it's Sam Darnold. Bro, I'm not that worried about Sam Darnold. Like, I'm really not. Dude, he could just throw it to Smith-Njigba and he's going to do what Smith-Njigba does. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Where the Rams deal with too many injuries and Chicago has been playing at this weird level to be able to compete with all these big teams. Then going over to the AFC, I like the Patriots the whole way. The Bills just don't have enough complete team to go all the way. I do think that Jacksonville has the team, but I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to choke, and I think you believe that as well. Denver, even though they are the number 1 seed, I don't think that they will play well enough in the playoffs to compete with going against these big teams. So say, you know, in my prediction here, that Denver goes against Buffalo and Denver beats Buffalo. I don't think that Denver would beat the Patriots just because I don't think that Denver is good enough to play good teams back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I you know, obviously that's too many for the bracket, but what I'm saying is playing against good teams, they're not going to be able to compete with that high of a level where I feel like the Patriots they believe and have bought into what Vrabel's telling them so they can play at any level that they choose to. And I feel like Vrabel, especially, you know, being a Patriot player himself, he's instilled that mentality in there. Yes, I still believe that they got as high as they did because of an easy schedule, but I still believe that they are still a good team, but at the end of the day, I believe in Sam Darnold enough and the rest of that Seattle team to win it all the way.
Yeah, it's interesting. You and I have very different brackets. I will tell you that.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm curious because I pulled up Denver because originally when I had done this just on my own, just behind the scenes stuff,
Right.
I thought it'd be Denver in the Super Bowl, but when I looked at who they played, as far as like strength, it was Philly, who has been up and down all season. It's been Houston that they squeaked out a win against. It's been Jacksonville, who they lost to, and they beat the Chargers. Did they beat them twice? No, they lost to the Chargers once. So there's not really a big strength there. I'm not worried about them playing Dallas or New York or Cincy or and then they lost to Indy, obviously, when Daniel Jones was there. So their schedule hasn't been great. But I say all that because I'm going to make my bracket. All right. Let's get into the nitty gritty. There's always a team. Okay. It doesn't matter week 1 through week 18. There's always a team. There's always an underdog. It's really rare when all of them that are favorable win, right? That's just what it is. That goes along basketball, baseball, everything. First game, we got the Bears playing against the Packers. Obviously, they're in Chicago. You have a healthy Jordan Love. Jordan Love's playing. You got Josh Jacobs playing. You got Christian Watson playing. I'm taking Green Bay. I'm taking Green Bay to beat Chicago. It's a divisional game. Very winnable for them. It was close with Malik Willis. And I'll tell you why, because Chicago's defense worries me. That's why. Chicago's not a complete team. They're a better offensive team than they are a defensive team. That's why. Then you got the Eagles and the Niners. I've been waiting all day. So I am a Niners fan, and people don't like to believe me. I got cousins, family members, friends are like, "You're a Niners fan. Why are you crapping on the Niners?" I go, "Look, I have said it for years, and it's nothing against Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is a great human being, but when it comes to football ability, he is not what he's worth of what the Niners are paying him. He should have put up more than 3 points. I don't care who it is. So you look at Joe Burrow, you look at Josh Allen. I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but it's all going to come back together, I promise. You look at these elite quarterbacks that are getting paid really well. Even Dak Prescott, given everything that he's done, their offense was fine and the defense sucked. If you can't put up more than 3 points, especially against a division rival, you're not going to win anything. That's all on Brock Purdy. Because just like with Buffalo, it's on Josh Allen. Just like in Cincinnati, it's on Joe Burrow. Okay? Doesn't matter. I think the Niners are too hurt. I think their defense played well last week, but I don't think Brock Purdy is him, and I don't know if they win a Super Bowl with him. Can they go in and beat the Eagles? Yes. Have they done that before? Yes. Are they going to happen this year because of injuries? No. I'm taking the Eagles. Okay. I know that was a long tangent, but some stuff I need to say, and I'll probably say it again later. Carolina and Los Angeles, I think it's pretty straightforward. You had 8-9 team. Then you have a team who, in my opinion, has the best offense in the NFL, the best 1-2 punch. Devontae Adams is coming back. Kyrie Williams is very serviceable. I believe Blake Corum's playing. He's been playing very well in the elite level. We already knew that coming out of college that he was going to be like that. And they have one of the best defensive lines, in my opinion, probably second to the Eagles, with Jalen Carter there. So I think Los Angeles wins this game pretty handedly, and this is how I see the divisional matchups playing out. So the AFC is going to be, I think it's going to be a little bit of a hot take. I don't think Xavier is going to like this one a bit. Obviously, Patriots-Chargers is pretty straightforward. You're going to take Patriots. I just don't think the Chargers, with Herbert being hurt, they're a young team. Just not yet, but soon. They're getting there, but just not quite yet. Sorry, Chargers fans. You guys are going to continue to be heartbroken every year for now. Next, okay, Jacksonville versus the Bills. So I want to pull this up because I'm curious who they played this year. Jacksonville, that's what I mean. So their losses were to Cincinnati early, so Joe was still there. They lost to Seattle. They lost to Los Angeles Rams, two pretty good teams in the NFC, and they lost to the Texans. Okay, they beat the Broncos. They beat the Colts. They beat Kansas City when Patrick Mahomes was still there. They beat Houston. There are times when you look at them and you're like, ooh, I don't know. I think my biggest thing, though, is that I think they're playing very well. I think the addition, I keep saying this every week. I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but obviously all this is tied to Trevor Lawrence, but I think their defense has been playing very well. Jacoby Myers has been an excellent addition to the team. Obviously Travis Hunter's gone, but Brian Thomas Jr. has also been integrated back. Travis Etienne has been a very serviceable running back. I think that team is solely on the back of that defense. And the way I can categorize it is the AFC is pretty defensive heavy versus offensive heavy, whereas the NFC is more offensive heavy than defensive heavy. Obviously, the Seattle Seahawks are the only anomaly in the NFC for that. But with all that being said, I got Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville beats the Bills, not because Josh Allen isn't good, not because the Bills can't do it. Their rush defense is not very good. They have pretty serviceable corners and safeties, but Josh Allen is historically known to play bad away. It's what happens. And I think when he plays against a good defense, he doesn't play well. And that's my only concern. And I don't think Jacksonville's an underdog. We'll find out in our next segment when we go through the bets. But I do think Jacksonville can edge out this game and can beat the Bills. Next game, to me, I know what Xavier's on, but there ain't no way I'm taking the Steelers. I know DK's going to be back. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. The homeboy's 42 years old. Their defense is pretty banged up. TJ Watt is back, but he doesn't look great. I'm taking Houston. I think I like that defense a lot better. They're probably the number 2 defense, in my opinion, when I'm looking at everybody on the board. So Seattle would be 1, and Houston would be 2, in my opinion. Their defense is great. So because of that, I really like Houston, and I think they can get the job done. I don't really think it's going to be too controversial, in my opinion. Next, you got Seattle versus Green Bay. I think this one's pretty straightforward. I think everyone across the board is going to be like, yeah, Seattle's winning this, right? Like, this isn't, Green Bay is young. It's just, I don't think this year's their year. They lost Micah. They don't have Kenny Clark no more. Their defense is kind of tore up. Even with the addition of Trayvon Diggs, I don't think that's going to, at this moment, help them. But I think maybe next year their defense will be a little bit scarier with Micah back and with Trayvon there. Next, you got the Eagles and the Rams. So to me, this is probably one of the best games. Obviously, I could see this in like a NFC Championship type setting as well. But obviously, based on the seasons, it's not going to work. But because the Eagles are so up and down, I really trust LA's offense, because I truly think that this is the best offense in the NFL when both Devontae and Puka are on the field. And Matthew Stafford threw for over 40 touchdowns this year. Let's not forget, like, Matthew Stafford, this is one of his last couple years he has left. Maybe it is his last year. I don't know. He's playing lights out no matter who he has on the field. I like Los Angeles, and that's going to be a big game when we get into it next. So here on the AFC side, we got the Broncos and the Texans. So it's pretty similar teams. Both their offenses are like, whatever. Their defenses are pretty good. I'm only going to take Denver because I think their defense gets it done and they have home field advantage. But it's going to be a very close defensive scoring game. And even though I do think, we say it every week, that they're pretenders, I do think they can beat Houston because I think they have already, if I'm not mistaken. And I can double check. Yes, they have beaten Houston, and it was close, 18-15. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something similar. And they played at Houston last time. This time it's in their backyard. So that's why I'm going there on that. The next game is Jacksonville versus Patriots. Man, this is a good game. I think you have a great coach, 2 great coaches that have come in and done very well with 2 very young teams. Trevor Lawrence obviously is the biggest risk factor, I think, on that offensive side for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't believe they played this year, so they have not played each other this year. But because I have seen that Jacksonville has lost to some of these better defensive teams, that does kind of give me a wary of thinking that they're going to win. I think that, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier when you were doing your bracket, is that I think at this moment is when Trevor Lawrence is going to kind of crap the bed. Yeah. And so I think I got Patriots. Interesting to have the 1 and 2 there, but I think we're going to see a Patriots Broncos in the AFC Championship. So going to the NFC, this is a good game. We got Seattle versus the Rams. The Rams are playing in Seattle. Tough, but doable. People have won. They only lost by a field goal in overtime without Devontae Adams. Let's not forget, Devontae was not playing. That matters. It truly does. And I think with a healthy team, I got Los Angeles beating the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Heartbreaker for them. They'll be back. I just don't think they're as good. And you got to remember, people, you're not worried about Sam Darnold. I'm worried about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold did not look good last year in Minnesota, and I think they had a good team last year to do it. I do. I truly think so. I think LA's defense is serviceable enough to stop Sam Darnold. If the Niners defense can stop Sam Darnold, the Rams defense can stop Sam Darnold. But the Rams offense is better both than the Seattle's offense and the Niners offense, hands down. You get the best 1-2 receiver in the league. Yeah, it's hard to tell me otherwise, honestly. I don't think Seattle's there quite yet. Soon. As long as they keep the pieces, soon.
We'll see.
The AFC Championship, now this is a game. Talk about a defensive game. I think the biggest issue, though, is that when you look at teams that go to the Super Bowl and have the best chance, they have a pretty good offense and a serviceable defense, or vice versa, a really great defense and a serviceable offense. I think with the fact of the Broncos. So going back, originally I had thought the Broncos were going to go. I think I said that. But in this case, I think I am actually going to go Patriots just because they do have a really good defense and their offense is playing lights out. I don't like a lot of their weapons. I don't think it's anything crazy, but I think they can get the job done. So I think we're going to see a Patriots-Rams Super Bowl. And maybe this is far-fetched. You know, it's weird for me to be picking a division rival to go to win the Super Bowl. But if you go back to our draft kit, okay? You go back to our draft kit. I told everybody, I said Matt Stafford's going to be a top 10 quarterback. No one believed me because he had no rushing ability. And I said that the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl. With that being said, I had the Rams winning the Super Bowl, and Matthew Stafford was a top 3 quarterback this year in fantasy football. Let's not forget. Oh, yes. And this will be his last. This is going to be his last Super Bowl. This is what's going to cement Matthew Stafford as a Hall of Famer. I mean, at some point, I don't know if he'll be like a first ballot, but he'll for sure be a Hall of Famer. And I don't know if he sticks around because I don't think there's nothing else to play for after this for him. It's a fairy tale indeed.
I still believe that the Rams have the overall better team than every team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I know.
I just like Seattle. I just like
Seattle. I get it. And I think, though, we were both on the same track when it comes to who we think is going to win is going to be an NFC West team. I've seen things on like TikTok and other social media where they're saying the Niners can beat the Eagles. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I think if the Niners were healthy with Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, we'd be having a whole nother conversation here, but this is not the case, unfortunately. I think that Super Bowl window's closed for them. But and actually we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But I wouldn't have any problem with Seattle or Los Angeles interchangeable because it seems like that's who we both think is going to win the Super Bowl is one of those two teams. I for sure believe it's going to be an NFC team this year. I just don't think the AFC has enough. It's just not enough there. I just don't think they don't have that firepower that we're looking for. But I will say I do think the Patriots are going to be very competitive, and I think they're going to be very good in the next couple of years, for sure. And they will for sure win the Super Bowl. I would say for sure in the next 5 years.
Right.
I don't want to put a guarantee on that, but I feel pretty strong about that. So next, we're going to get into our Wildcard weekend football bets. So we're looking at the money line, over, under, and spread. There's only 6 games this week, so it's not going to be very long. It's going to get shorter and shorter as each week goes. So the first game, we got the Rams, favored by 10.5. So I think most people pretty easily pick this game against the Panthers. The total's 46.5. I'm going to go over on that just because we have seen the game that they played last time. It was pretty good. It's pretty competitive. Minus 10.5. I don't know about that one. I'd probably go minus 6.5 on that. I wouldn't trust the minus 10.5, but I still think the Rams
I agree, but I'm going to go under. I don't think it's going to be as big scoring as you think.
Okay. Next, we got the Packers favored. They're favored against the Bears. They're only favored by 1.5. I'm taking that all day. I think that's easy money. Chicago did not look good last week against the Lions. Their defense didn't look good against the 49ers. Just they worry me. I think they're going to be a good team soon. I just don't think they're there quite yet. I think Ben Johnson needs a couple more years with them. Caleb has shown promise, but his completion percentage was in the high 60s when he was popping off. Now it's between 50 and 60. So it's not in the right direction where we would want him right now. So that's where I'm feeling it. The total's 45.5. I'm going to go under. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that.
I agree.
Next game, we got the Bills favored by
I do agree that it should be Chicago, but the under I do agree on.
Okay, so you agree with the under, but you're going Chicago.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we got Buffalo. They're favored by 1.5 versus Jacksonville. I'm personally going to go Jacksonville here. I know X is going to go differently. I like them at plus 1.5. The total's 52.5. I'm going to go under just because Jacksonville really does have that great defense. So that worries me. And Josh Allen hasn't put up a lot of points against strong defenses this year. But I think the 1.5 is fine for them. X?
Obviously, I'm going to go the Bills, and I will go under.
Okay. Next, we have the 49ers versus the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 4.5. The total's 44.5. I'm going to go over because if the Niners want to be competitive by any means, they're going to have to score. because their defense is going to get lit up. I don't like the -4.5. I like -2.5 better. I think it just works better because with the field goal. So I do like Philly though by -2.5, but I'm going to go over on that because I don't know if I can trust the Niners defense to uphold a great running back and 2 great receivers in the backfield.
Fair enough. I agree.
Okay, next we got the Chargers versus the Patriots. Man, the Patriots are favored by -3.5. That's pretty close. A lot closer than I thought. The total's 46.5. I'm going to go under. The Chargers have a pretty underrated defense this year. It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And obviously the Patriots have a good defense, but I don't like 3.5. I like 2.5. So we're going to take Patriots at -2.5 there.
I agree.
Okay. Next we have the Houston Texans favored by 3 versus the Steelers. The total's 39.5. Yeah, I'm going under on that because that is a strong Texans defense, a boo-boo Pittsburgh offense that got lucky last week, honestly.
Yeah.
And but I'm going to take the Texans at -2.5 instead of 3. I think they can get the job done. X.
Obviously, I'm going Steelers, but I'm definitely going under.
Okay. So that's what we got for this week. Obviously, the brackets and everything can change as it goes. So, my predictions for our bracket versus what the money line is for next week could be different depending on how the games go. So,
right.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was cool. Like I said, as we start progressing through this, it's going to get shorter and shorter. So, you bettors out there, really pay attention because they might go from it was like 20 minutes before, and now it's going to be like a minute. It's not going to be much to talk about. So, next, we got our hot takes. So, X, go ahead and shoot us some of your hot takes for today or questions, whatever you want to call them.
So, the first one is which coach is the best available right now? I think we all know, but, just putting it out.
I would say just based on what you had shared, I think it's John Harbaugh just because of the pedigree and the wins and the Super Bowls. I mean, there's not a coach out there like that. That's not
I think we can both kind of agree on that one. So then let me add more to it. Who do you think is the next best head coach?
Ooh, the next best head coach available. Is that through anybody that's still an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator that they're considering, or are you just saying?
Yeah, it could be. So
okay. So I know I just have a feeling, and I'm leaving all this in. I'm not cutting any of this. I think it's fine to have a conversation. I'm thinking you're going to think Stefanski. I don't think so. I think it's either going to be Mike McCarthy. I think it's going to be Jason Garrett. That was an interesting one that I heard. Or who is the other guy that they were going to? Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores deserves another shot. Yeah. His defense is next level. So I think for me, those are the 3 guys where I'm like, if I had to think of another guy past John Harbaugh, I mean, Mike McCarthy's won the Super Bowl. You have Jason Garrett. These are big names. So
I would. Those are kind of interesting ones, honestly. I would say for me, Stefanski.
Yeah.
As the second. I figured. I mean, he won 2 Coach of the Year awards. It's not my fault it's not his fault that the organization's just horrible. So it just kind of is what it is. Mismanagement, to be honest. Then I would actually say, man, honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb. And I'm actually going to say Raheem Morris.
Interesting.
He didn't have a bad record. He went 9-8, 8-9, both of his seasons. So it's not like he was really running off of a horrible, horrible record. He only got 2 years out of it. And I think he got screwed in his opportunity because of the GM. And normally when you fire your GM, you fire your head coach. And then after that, honestly, I'd probably say 49ers defensive coordinator, Saleh.
Well, I didn't want to bring him up because I don't think he's going to leave, but I don't want you to put that out there. So
I don't think he's going to leave, but he would be a top candidate.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair, but I don't know. I think he's I think he's a great defensive coordinator. And I think that's the problem.
I think
it's
so
kind
too.
it's kind of like Coach Mike McDaniel in Miami, right? Like he would make a great offensive coordinator. He maybe isn't the best head coach, unfortunately.
Right. So going on, which coach do you think should have been fired?
Not John Harbaugh, I'll tell you that. Who should have? I mean, I think Stefanski, and I know you're pretty high on him. For me, I think it's just you're there for 6 seasons. You've had 13 quarterbacks. I know there's some things that he can't control, but he also has input. There's just some things this year that I didn't like he didn't prepare Shador for certain things. It's just weird things that you would think they would at least get some kind of reps or have the right playbook on their arm. Things that it's just I think that for me was like, yeah, I think those were fireable. I'm trying to think, is there another one where I was just like, yeah, for sure. Nah, I think for me right now, I think he was like my biggest I saw that coming a mile away. I saw the Pete Carroll one too, but I didn't think. I mean, we'll get to it later. I just didn't think he should have been.
So for me, I think it was Brian Callahan.
That's fair.
Definitely should have been fired, which he was. So now, I mean, coming from a Titans fan, we all watched it, so we all know. So now let me add to that question. Which coach do you think should have been fired but wasn't? So who right now, as a head coach, should have been fired but wasn't?
Man, I'm going to have to make me go back on my list and look real quick.
Well, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, Miami's head coach, Mike McDaniels.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
He should have been fired. The dude, I mean, you could just tell by how the players act, how they go about everything, that they do not respect that dude. He should have been fired. I think he's one of those coaches that is a really good offensive mind and would easily get probably another head coach job, which I don't think he should, but he should go back to an offensive coordinator and probably just stay there. That's probably where he should just be.
I don't know if it's considered hot, but I think Shane Steichen honestly was one of the guys where I felt like he could have been based on the situation. I think Philip did his best to come in and save him as best as he could. But I mean, I like to relate a lot of things to like my team. So I think Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. I don't know if he wins a Super Bowl, but I think he's a great coach. But what did he do that no other coach did? Work with a backup quarterback and made it work. Right. That's what's going to make you a great coach or not. But obviously that's depth too. And there's a lot of little different layers that's involved with that. But I wasn't going to be surprised if that would have happened. But I think the other guy that I've been kind of looking at, and I actually asked you before we started filming, full transparency, is Zach Taylor for the Bengals. Joe Burrow's been hurt. I mean, at the end of the day, like the organization itself needs to figure out a way to keep Joe Burrow healthy from him basically not getting hit, because that's how he's getting hurt. He's getting hit. He's been there since 2019, and that's the stat that I was looking at. I was just curious. I don't know the last time that the Bengals have been to a playoffs. Playoffs.
To be fair, I think the Bengals issue is a defensive one, not so much an offensive, because Joe Flacco did come in and do good work. He brought that team back from the brink. So
they've only been to the playoffs 2 years. They've only been in the playoffs 2 years. So they were there in 21 and in 22. So 21, I think, is when Joe Burrow came in, and then 22.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think those are the two guys where if I had to think about that question, I would say those are the guys that I think would be on the hot seat, considering that there was the guys who I thought were going to get fired, got fired. Yeah, I like your Mike McDaniel one, because he's somebody that I think universally, it's kind of speculated that when John Harbaugh became available, there's one team. Okay, there's 7 teams that now don't have a head coach. Obviously, the Ravens wouldn't call him back after firing him. So there's a team with an NFL head coach that called. Miami makes the most sense, unless it was the Chargers and John comes in as a defensive coordinator or something like that.
So what I want to say, since you brought up I'll bring up my other guy who I was debating on. And this might also be the team that called, was, I think, Mike Tomlin. should have been let go.
Ooh.
And the Steelers might have called.
I don't know.
The Steelers might have called because the fans are asking for him to go. The front office, they are afraid of him. And for some reason, they don't want to kick him out. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got a winning record the whole time that he's coached. So I get it. And that's an amazing feat. I'm not knocking any of that. But at the end of the day, how long are you going to stay at mediocrity? You are going to stay at constantly making playoffs, but never really going farther. And he's done that for a good amount of time. Obviously, he's, won a Super Bowl there. But, I mean, come on. Like, how long? And by that time, for how long he's been there, you should have already gone over that cusp. So, personally, me, I think that might have been the other team that called.
That's an interesting thought. For me, I was looking up. I was curious how many times he's been in the playoffs, and I think the last time he missed the playoffs was in 18 and 19. I think that's after Big Ben. But he's been there in 2020, 2021. Oh, 2022, he didn't make it. But he's been in the playoffs quite a bit. I think that would be my only reason why I don't think.
I mean, you wouldn't have thought that with John Harbaugh, but they did it.
No, that's very true. That's very true.
So that's why, for me, I think that might have been one of the other teams. Now going on to the next question, which coach do you find as a steal of a hire? As in somebody that probably is ranking a little low on the interest chart, but, might be a strong candidate for rookie head coach of the year.
Well, I don't know if I'd call him a rookie head coach of the year, but I would say there's guys that I have mentioned earlier that I think people forgot about that are available that I think would be an absolute steal.
The Jason Garrett's, the Mike McCarthy's, maybe even a little Chip Kelly action.
Let's not get crazy. This kid, I don't know about all that. I think, like Pete Carroll would obviously be a steal, but I just think he's too old at this point, and I think he needs to go enjoy retirement. I would say Bill Belichick would be a steal if you can get him out of North Carolina. I don't care what team you're on. If there's a guy that's going to fix the team, if there's a guy who's going to fix the team, you're going to tell me Billy B can't do it?
What about John Gruden, dude?
Nah, let's not go there. Let's not go crazy now. Let's not go crazy. Okay, no. That boy's done. Honestly, if I had to pick from the guys, like not naming John Harbaugh, man, I think a steal of a coach would be Robert Saleh. If someone can convince him to leave the Niners as their DC, that would be the steal, in my opinion, out of everybody. I don't think that happens, but in a fantasy world where, let's say, that does happen, okay, that would be a steal because he would be an excellent head coach. Which is going to segue into one of my questions later, but like there's some really good young teams that are talented on both sides of the ball. You have the Giants. The Browns have a good defense. Their offense could use a little bit of work, but you also have like teams like Atlanta who are good on defense. You have a top running back and you have a top receiver in Drake London. We hate to say that, okay? We talk crap about him every year in fantasy, but he was a high-end receiver this year and Bijan was a high-end running back this year. So there's a lot of promise there for those teams. And I would have to say Robert Saleh. Who do you think is a steal in your opinion?
I would say Denard Wilson. He's the Titans defensive coordinator. Since you went your defensive coordinator, I got to go mine, right? No, but he actually is a really good coach, and I think he deserves that shot. To be honest as well, I would say Raheem Morris would be kind of a steal for whatever team takes him, because I really think he got an unfair go in Atlanta, and to be honest, I would not be upset if the Titans hired him either. I wouldn't be upset.
I don't know if he gets a head coaching opportunity. I wonder if he goes back to being a DC.
To be honest, I really hope he does. He took a team to 8-9 with Michael Penix and Timu version of Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, the dude worked magic on nothing. So, I think he does deserve another shot.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Well, that's going to segue into my question. So here's my start of my hot takes. What head coach firing was the biggest mistake? And I'll go first because I've already said it because it's already kind of been out there. I think it's John Harbaugh, hands down. 180 wins. You got, let me see. He's the third highest wins of active coaches as of 2025. The only other two people above him is Andy Reid with 300 plus wins and Mike Tomlin at 190 wins.
Yeah.
So he's a proven Super Bowl winning head coach, lots of playoff experience. It's almost hard to do it. I get why they did it. I just don't agree with it. I think that was wrong.
It's fair. Obviously for me, I would say Harbaugh for the same reasons, but to not, sound like a broken record. The two others that I would say would be Raheem Morris for all the reasons that I said before. And the other one would be Pete Carroll. You only gave him one season. Yeah. You're not going to do anything with one season. You're really not. So I don't know what that was. I think in reality, there might have been a little bit more of a mutual agreement than that might be let on. Because like you said, he is older, he might just be done.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think he'll do fine somewhere else. It just has to be the right situation. The Raiders wasn't the right situation. I think they gave it a go at bringing in Geno and trying to make it work. But I think that once Chip Kelly got fired, and I think the problem too was that his son was an offensive line coach, and I think it's just there was just a lot of stuff that the Raiders fans didn't really like, and the owner kind of just goes in and fires whoever's the head coach when they play bad. But
does his thing.
I will say though, I was reading online that the Raiders is not a desirable destination for a lot of head coaches.
Shouldn't
because they know that as soon as
it really shouldn't be
crap hits the fan, they're going to get fired, and it's not even worth it for them to, do that. But that kind of segues into my next question: is which NFL team is the best destination for a new head coach?
So if you want to go, I guess in the real world there would be three scenarios. If you want a extremely young team to go to, I would obviously say the Titans. They have a really young team. They have a young offense. They have a young defense. They have the 4th overall pick. They have over $100+ million in cap space. You already have a franchise quarterback who is believed to be that. So if you're building for future and you can convince the organization to give you at least 4 years, no matter how bad those 4 years are, if you could convince them to give you 4 years to make it happen, that would be desirable. I would say if you want kind of middle of the pack desirable, then I would say the Giants, because they're a little bit young, but a little bit older too in certain aspects, to where you would probably take a little less time to be able to start to get a winning record out of them. Then if you wanted a team that you could probably immediately turn around, which would probably be hey, it would only take me 1 or 2 years to get this team on track, would probably be the Browns, just for the sake of that defense. If you could keep that defense and add to that defense, you have a top 5 defense already. You have an offense in, possibly, I'm going to speak unbiasedly right now, possibly a quarterback that could do something, at least bad to average in that category. We don't know what he has yet. I think, in all honesty, in my opinion, I think Shedeur Sanders gets found out after 6 games. So essentially, coaches have a full year of tape on him. He's going to get found out, and he's not going to be able to do a whole lot. But still not a big deal. You have Dylan Gabriel there as well if you want to go that route. So, I mean, to be honest, that's kind of where I think it would go.
Interesting. So for me, I think it was interesting you even bring up the Ravens. The Ravens are still in the hunt. They're not as bad as those other teams record-wise. I think the Ravens would be an interesting destination. I think it would be for like a better coach, if that makes sense. It wouldn't be for like a first-time coach.
I would say it would have to be, yes, exactly. It would have to be for a seasoned coach, because the only reason why I didn't say the Ravens is because the Ravens are an established team, meaning that you cannot just go in there and be like, all right, boys, you're going to buy into my system. Right. I highly doubt it. You're not going to get Lamar Jackson. You're not going to get the leaders of the locker room to buy into what you're doing.
Well, that's why I'm thinking it would be some of those guys I mentioned earlier. You have your Jason Garretts, you have your Mike McCarthy's, you have your John for any reason, Pete Carroll. I mean, you have these guys that are seasoned people that people respect. I keep saying Billy B, but I'm just saying, like, these are guys that are well established and known that can do the job and get it handled. Because the Ravens are still competitive. They need to fix that defense a little bit. They're still competitive, and they have $20 million in cap next year. As long as Lamar can remain healthy, that's the biggest thing. For me, honestly, in my heart of hearts, I do think the New York Giants is actually the best destination. I think they have great young pieces on offense. You got to remember, Malik Neighbors is going to come back. You have Cam Scatabo for the wild man that he is. Hey, shout out Sacktown, but he's wild, dude. He played really well this year. And you have Jackson Dart, who can play very good as well. Both these boys just need to learn. Well, not Cam, but Jackson just needs to learn how to slide because he likes to run the ball. So I really like their offensive weapons. I do believe they're going to draft a receiver again, is what I read. But, obviously things change before the draft. And their defense is pretty young. You got Abdul Carter, you got Thibodeau. Like, you have pretty solid pieces. They can be old in some places, but I like where their future is headed as far as superstars and talent on the field. So it's very attractive. Maybe not the organization, but the talent on the field is what attracts me there. I see your point with the Browns. Obviously, the defense is great. They are actually over cap of $17 million heading into 2026. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think Jerry Jeudy's probably going to be gone. But I think the biggest question is going to be is Shador. Can you bring in a system that's going to help benefit Shador? I think if Shador in the right system can be very good. If he's not in the right system, I mean, we saw what happened this year. He did okay. He did average.
In my opinion, if it was going to be anybody, it would have to be somebody out of the Andy Reid tree, because when Alex Smith kind of has a similar little dump pass, mid pass type rhythm as a quarterback, you would need, Alex Smith excelled with Andy Reid. So you would need, like, in my opinion, Nagy would probably be a good fit as a head coach for the Browns, because he is out of that Andy Reid coaching tree, and he's obviously the Chiefs offense coordinator. So he would be able to, work with that.
I got one even better for you. I don't know if you're gonna like it though.
Probably not. Not if you started out like that.
Papa's gonna come home and save his boy. That's what I see was what can happen, because he's already been linked there. I would not be surprised. You're gonna hear it here first.
I hope,
because he's not tied down to Colorado.
I hope it happens to watch that organization absolutely crumble. And so I can sit here and I can sit here and I can talk to Hayden all day and just let him know how much crap his team will be. Man. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I truly, in my heart of hearts, I hope it happens to watch it all crumble. I
think it'll make for great TV. I mean, they did
it'll make for great TV, great content, and it'll be fantastic.
And they'll bring on Shiloh too, bro. They'll bring on Shiloh. Like,
I hope.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
And you know what? I hope they trade 2 first-round picks for Travis Hunter and bring him back.
I don't think they do.
I want to watch it.
I don't think Jacksonville gives him up.
Dion would be dumb enough. He'd be dumb enough.
Yeah, but I don't think Jacksonville will do it, though, to be honest. I don't think
if I was Jacksonville, I would.
I know, but they invested a lot, so I don't think they will.
Yeah.
But but he was tied with the Cowboys too, and the Cowboys were trying to get him too. So that's just rumors. But in all seriousness, I do think that the Falcons would be my other team, where I do think they have a young, good team. And that a team is definitely serviceable, and that division is very winnable. So I wouldn't be surprised if if actually Harbaugh kind of goes and tries to step into that in the NFC, because I don't think he goes to the AFC and against his brother. I don't think that happens. Okay, let's get out of this coaching. Let's talk about some football.
I love the coaching talk.
Yeah, let's talk about some players. Okay, is Lamar Jackson starting to head out of his prime?
Yes, 100%, no question. Yeah,
do you know the?
No hesitation.
I think I said it before. The prime of a running quarterback is 28 to 31. As of today of filming, I'm just going to look it up and I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to cut it.
I think. Know. Well, while you're searching that, I'll just give my small little sense. Is that I think that Lamar is getting this weird tendency and this weird. I don't want to say ego, but kind of maybe, to where he thinks that, his play style has won him MVPs. So he wants to stick to that play style and doesn't really want to listen to what other coaches have to say. You know what I mean? It's kind of like being a quarterback coach that comes in and you're coaching Tom Brady. Like, what do you have to show this guy? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's where Lamar might feel like he's at. And obviously I'm just guessing in that aspect, but that's the only thing that I could think of why his play has dropped so dramatically.
Well, first off, happy birthday, Lamar Jackson. Turned 29 today, so I thought he was going to be 30. So he just turned 29. So he's still in that prime age.
Good for him.
What concerns me the most is his injuries and the fact that he isn't running as well. He's not getting protected as well. So that kind of scares me. There are some, like Linderbaum's a free agent, so it'll be interesting to see if he leaves. Next, this might be a little bit of a hot take. Is Myles Garrett the greatest of all time at defensive end?
No.
In your opinion?
No.
Really? Who's the greatest of all time at defensive end?
Are we talking
all time?
Now, hold on.
Defensive end, not defensive tackle.
Okay.
Yeah, defensive end.
Reggie White.
He's at the end. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My go was Jared Allen. It was Jared Allen.
Hey, dude, he was a that was
Jared
a boy
beast,
right
bro.
there, dude.
I would say Myles Garrett is the GOAT of our generation. I wouldn't say he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
But of our generation, yes.
No, I would say because our generation, would say Myles Garrett is of this generation. Yeah.
That's what I said.
Because
this generation.
Our generation was like TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Or not Watt. JJ Watt. Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ Watt was a monster. That was a
that's why I said Jared Allen.
There.
Jared Allen was always my guy. I was like, that.
Oh yeah, no, I did love Jared Allen too.
Yeah,
I liked him. I liked JJ Watt. I liked Kyle Vanden Bosch. He was kind of underrated, but he was a solid.
All right, next. So I asked this last week, but we have to ask again. Every week it's going to be different. Who do you think should be the MVP, and who is going to be the MVP? Two different questions. Because obviously quarterback versus another positional player. So who do you think should be versus going to be?
Obviously, I'm a record guy. So for me, who should be MVP should be Myles Garrett. He broke a record, bro. Like
hands down.
There's reasons why there are records there.
Right.
And so to me, he should be. Who will get it? I'm going to say I still think this guy does deserve it, but I think Drake may.
Really?
I think he does deserve it. He probably won't, honestly, but he is a quarterback that I think deserves it. And I think he has a high chance.
I think he played well. I think obviously his rushing ability is what helped him.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Matthew Stafford has redeemed himself these last couple of weeks after having a really bad game. He's thrown 46 touchdowns, dude. 46.
Yeah.
The next closest person is 12 touchdown passes away, dude. That's wild. Him and Drake May have thrown the same amount of interceptions at 8. Okay. Yeah. It's just tough. I think obviously we knew Matthew Stafford didn't have that running ability. I think Stafford has had the tougher schedule.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's more for me. It's always been like this fairy tale ending for him. His best friend Clayton Kershaw just retired from the MLB. It only makes sense for him to win the Super Bowl, just like Clayton won the World Series. And call it. There's
Right
nothing
off
else for him
into
to
the
left to prove.
sunset, dude.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, it's kind of just writing itself. That's
Fair
that's
enough.
the script. That's the script. So we saw our bracket earlier. If you had to pick one team here, let me refresh it. And I can even throw it up on the screen here.
Does it matter? Like, so are you talking
like even if we don't think they win, like who's like, if you look at them, you're like, I could see this team, even though we might not think it like personally. Like, here's the list. Who's a team that you think is so dark horse that they have a shot? Like, there's a legitimate shot.
So you're saying that you don't want me to pick like the top 3?
No, I'm saying like you're going to pick one team out of all the teams. So dark horse is like someone that has the ability to win it all. Like, even though you and I might not think they're going to win it all, but someone who can have the ability to win it all.
Jacksonville.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? I like that one. That's hot. That's a hot take right there.
So I like Jacksonville. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't choke, that dude was playing hardcore the last 4 or 5 games. He's turned it on with Jacoby Myers. That's opening up Brian Thomas Jr. And ETN is actually doing
pretty well, actually.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Like this last little stint, and this Jaguars defense is showing up like when it matters. So to me, and they have this record-breaking kicker who's just kicking from anywhere.
Sick.
Anywhere on the field, and he's making it. So tell me why Jacksonville wouldn't be the dark horse.
I mean, I'm going to be, not going to lie, I'm going to be fully transparent here. I was kind of leaning there a little bit. Obviously, all the stars have to align. Their defense needs to play lights out.
Yeah.
But because I'm going to play devil's advocate and kind of say something else, I think in an ideal world, and I'm just going to kind of show it, okay? In an ideal world here, okay?
Oh my gosh, stop,
brother,
dude.
I'm getting to it, bro. I'm getting to it.
Stop.
I'm getting to it. I probably think it's still that. I still think it's that. In an ideal world, okay. No, I'm not. Don't just let me
You're
right
to
here.
Lose. Oh my
no.
God,
I don't think. No. I don't listen. I'm not saying they're gonna win.
Change
I'm not
your
saying
name
that.
to Hayden right now and
no.
Put it out there.
And this is not even content. Like, this is me being like straight up. Like, in the ideal world, okay. Listen. I trust Robert Saleh. We can get Fred Warner back. Okay. We can. Eric Kendricks is going to be serviceable until then. This is all, and I like Jacksonville's chances. I will tell you that right now, more than I like San Francisco's chances. I will be straight up about that. This is if we get the Brock Purdy that came back from injury, where he was playing lights out, 5 touchdowns a game. That's the kind of Brock Purdy you're going to come with. If you have that Brock Purdy come out, throwing to Kittle, throwing to Juwan, Ricky Pearsall comes back. You have Fred Warner come back. I think he'd come back against the Rams if that was the case. We can beat the Rams, and we call it Levy South. We can beat Seattle. We've beaten Seattle in Seattle. That's not a big thing. It's divisional. That's right. That's the only reason why I think there's a shot. Obviously, I think a lot of that, I don't know if it relies on Green Bay winning, because I think that they could beat the Bears too. They already have proven they can beat the Bears. But right. I think for me, if it's not going to be Jacksonville, it's going to be the 49ers, because they have a shot. They don't have their best players. I understand that. But CMC can break off. I think CMC is the best running back in the league. No one's going to tell me any different. I think George Kittle is the top 2 tight end in the league. No one's going to tell me any different this year. The Niners' biggest weak point is the receivers, but they've been serviceable when available. Trent Williams will be back. But they're going to have to beat the Eagles, and that's going to be tough. So that's why, for me, you're going to have Brock Purdy throwing 5 touchdowns a game for 3 games in a row. I don't think that happens, obviously. But if I had to take a team that has championship or has Super Bowl appearance experience and a coach that knows how to figure it out, with one of my opinion, one of the top 3 defensive coordinators in the league. I know that's a pretty hot take too, but I would say Robert Saleh is. Right. I think there's a shot if Fred Warner can come back. And that's a lot of what ifs, and I'd probably give him like a 0.01% chance for it to happen, if that makes sense. But as far as like dark horse, shot in the dark, something that if the cards aligned right, that could happen, I think that could happen. I couldn't say the same thing for Carolina. I couldn't say the same thing for Green Bay. I couldn't say the same thing for the Steelers. I couldn't say the same thing for the Chargers. Can the Packers beat the Bears in Chicago? It's my next one for you.
Can the
Packers beat the Bears in Chicago? They lost by 3 in Chicago last time with Malik Willis.
Is it possible? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No. Just because Green Bay always gets injured. If it was impossible for them to get injured, I would say it's possible.
Yeah. So I think the stat that I gave a couple weeks ago for those that are weekly listeners is that the Bears have only beat the Packers 3 times in 10 years. Now it's 4 times in 11, right? I think that's what the stat is now because we're heading into our 11th year. I think the Packers, not with Mike. I know Micah is a difference maker here, but the Packers with Jordan Love is going to make a difference. I don't think in any world. I think Malik has been impressive, but I don't think Malik is the starting quarterback by any means in Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love has pretty cemented that, and Jordan Love does have playoff experience. I think they can. Like I said, I just don't have faith quite yet in Chicago. I think they're young. I think they're a year or two off from making a strong push. But I think for me, I do think that they can win. But I'll also kind of tied into my Niners thing too, to be honest. I don't think Packers will go far after that, though, in my personal opinion.
No.
The next one I got for you is, can Josh Allen and the Bills win away? That's always been the question all season long. He's having a lot of trouble with some of these teams that are not so good losing because he does like to choke in the playoffs. And the stats I want to give you, so he was drafted in 2018. He lost in overtime in 2019 in the wild card to the Texans. And then he lost in the conference championship against the Chiefs in 2020. He lost at Kansas City. So let me kind of go through it. So 2019, he played away against Houston, lost. 2020, played 2 games at home against the Colts. The Ravens won. Played against the Chiefs in Kansas City, lost. The next year in 2021, played against the Patriots at home, won. Then played against the Chiefs again in Kansas City, lost in overtime. Then he, in 2022, Wildcard, he beat the Dolphins and then lost to Cincinnati, but they lost him at home, which I thought was interesting. In 2023, they played the Steelers and won. And then in the divisional game, they lost against the Chiefs, and they're actually at home against the Chiefs. And then last year in 2024, they beat the Broncos, but they were at home. They beat the Baltimore Ravens, but they're at home. And then they played the Chiefs again. There's a kind of a recurring team here. All times they lose. But they played the Chiefs again at Kansas City and lost. So I think all the games that they are away, since Josh Allen has been there, they have not won an away game. So that kind of is why I asked the question, because they are playing against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville against a good defense. I mean, I know you already put your bracket together and you think that the Bills could win. I guess it's more of like a why. Why do you think that, even though the stats and the history has shown otherwise?
Because in my opinion, Josh Allen doesn't really melt down in Wildcard. I mean, has he? Sure. Yeah. But he normally doesn't. He normally melts down either championship or semifinals. He normally doesn't do it in the first. So that's kind of my logic behind it.
I think for me, it's like they've always had a good record, so they're not playing the best teams early. But now it's the opposite, where they're playing a pretty good team. I mean, not crazy good, but pretty strong defensive team. Right. So I think that's why I'm like a stats guy, so if I look at the stats and it tells me a story, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I like that.
No, that's fair.
But we'll see. So in your opinion, based on all these teams here on the list, who is the strongest playoff team?
Rams.
Okay. Who's the weakest playoff team?
Steelers. No, Carolina.
Really? Well, then I'm gonna have to just switch it up so we're not the same. I do think that the Steelers, I think Steelers versus Carolina would be interesting. 2 boo-boo teams would probably be the worst team. I think the best team, I mean, I've been talking them up all year. So I got to stick with the script. I got to be the Rams. I just think it's the offense. Serviceable defense, great defensive line. Corners are questionable. Great 1-2 punch. You can't double either receiver. You're going to get cooked. It's hard. Whereas with the Seahawks, you got 1 good receiver and 1 fast receiver. But you got JSN, and that's it. This is a good one. What NFL team do you think is, or I should say, which NFL team do you like heading into 2026? Obviously, we don't know the coaching yet. We don't know how it's going to go. But just the team on paper, what is the team that maybe didn't make the playoffs that you're like, oh, I really like this team for next year? Specifically next year.
I would say the Buccaneers.
Oh, okay.
I like them. I feel like in this draft, they're going to focus defensively, which I think they should. And they already found a good slot guy with Ibuka, and they have a really good receiving core. They need Baker Mayfield healthy, maybe revamp the line a little bit. Their running backs are solid as long as they can stay healthy. There's no reason why that team shouldn't be good.
That's a good one. That's not someone that I thought of. Okay, look, let me put the content hat on, but I'm being sincere. I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think it's the Cowboys. I hate to say it. I really do.
You were honestly, I thought you were going to say the Browns, and I was just going to. I was just going to click right off.
No.
I was just going to.
No, not next year. No. No, I think it's the Cowboys. I think they showed a lot of promise heading. I mean, obviously they traded for Quinn Williams just a little too late. They're in a capital situation though. I'll tell you that. Their cap situation is they are minus $40 million in the hole. So I don't know if they're going to resign George Pickens or what they're going to do. But I think their offense looked really good. I think if they added those couple of pieces on defense, obviously they got rid of Trayvon, but I mean he wasn't really doing much for them, anyways, with being injured or just getting burned. So I think they're looking good. Their defense has gotten better. Their offense is obviously pretty top tier. Not as good as the Rams, but probably top 5, I would say, this year. So I think I do like them. I do think they make the playoffs next year. And when Angel watches this, I'm gonna have to hear it at work, but it's fine. it's the truth. It's just the fact of the matter at this point.
That's fair.
Next, so the only thing I have in my notes, by the way, people, is Raiders Fernando Mendoza hot take. So I'm gonna go on a little bit of tangent here. So if you guys don't know who this is, he is the consensus most likely number 1 pick, barring what happens during the combine. From Indiana, he's looking pretty good. Won the Heisman. Played lights out against Alabama. Shout out to the boy Bevel for going to that game when it was pouring. He believed, I think he put some money on Alabama. Alabama lost. He said it was a good game for Alabama. So Mendoza looks like he's him. He's doing pretty good. Unfortunately, the Raiders have the number 1 pick. And the thing that I've been asking around some of my coworkers at work and friends is, if the Raiders take this guy at number 1, like, is it fair for them to start him right away? Should they go get a bridge quarterback, whether that's still Geno? They could cut him. Should they go back and get a Derek Carr? Derek Carr said he'd be willing to come back. I think that would be interesting. Derek Carr's a great football mind. You can see clips of him from the Fresno News at 12 years old when David was here at Fresno State, absolutely going off and calling off plays. So the guy has a mind for football and for at the quarterback position. Or would you say that it's not fair for a guy like him to have to go to a situation like that and play right away when that team isn't built for success? Nobody succeeds there. Their offensive line's terrible.
If you draft a quarterback first overall, he's starting. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If we drafted Cam Ward number 1 overall and did not start him, they should have just literally, I don't know, disqualified themselves, retired from the NFL as a team as a whole, because that organization's an absolute idiot. If you draft a quarterback number 1, you are starting him. No question.
I think my head always goes to, like, you look at your Jordan Loves, look at some of these guys that had a couple years to develop. Even Aaron Rodgers, who was projected to be a lot higher than what he went, learned behind some of these all-time greats like Brett Favre. And granted, all the crazy stuff that happened, we're not talking about that, but more of like him as his ability to play. It's almost like sometimes you need these bridge quarterbacks. It'd be different if, like, he was going into a situation where they had these pieces already, but I almost feel bad for the kid because he's going to a team that's a dysfunctional organization that can't seem to win, that just moved, that, I didn't want to get talking about the owner, but, we call him Jerry Jones 2.0. Like, it's not a good situation. And I think, unfortunately, like, they're almost like the new version of the Cleveland Browns where the quarterbacks go to die at this point.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all I wanted to say about him. I don't know if it would call it a hot take. It was just more of like, I felt bad for the kid to go. It's like him having to go to the Browns, it's just so dysfunctional. It's unfortunate. And the last one I got for you, and I know after I just gave my delusional rant about how the Niners are a dark horse, we talk about this every year because it gets brought up. It gets brought up at work. I hear it from buddies. You've said it. I mean, God, we even had other people who have been on here have said it. I think the San Francisco Super Bowl window's closed.
Yeah.
I think last year was this little glimmer of hope. I think we had a little bit of a chance. Truly, I did. McCaffrey stayed healthy all season. No one had that on their bingo card, right? As you like to say.
Yeah,
so, I mean, what do you think? Do you think their Super Bowl window's closed? Is that it? They're cooked?
Yeah. I never had them even making playoffs.
Well,
so
well, they did.
They already exceeded my expectations.
Okay. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens when Brock's salary starts kicking in, because that's going to start hurting the team quite a bit. And they got to get rid of some of that dead money with Debo and the other players that left, and Ayuk. We won't even get into that. Let's not get into that. All right, everybody, thanks for sticking around. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on Spotify. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts. Also, we have a website, which is www.encinasunfiltered.com. You see everything Encinas Unfiltered related there. You'll have access to our Instagram, all our socials. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, you name it, we're basically on it. Threads.
MySpace.
But no, we don't have MySpace. A little throwback there. But the website is the biggest part, where if you want to see everything that's going on, we have our pictures, we have our brackets. We're going to have everything posted there. We have different shows on our channel. All those latest episodes will be posted there. So definitely go ahead and check those out. As a reminder, you have Fantasy Royale this week. It's not the normal, what is it? Your pick'ems. It's not the normal pick'ems anymore. It's going to be a bracket. Think of it like March Madness. So go ahead and put those in. It's free. You don't have to pay nothing. You literally put in an email, put out your picks, and hope you win. Grand prize is 10 grand. Can't beat it. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, and I'll say it again, we're working on putting the merch integrated into the YouTube, so it'll be easier for people to buy. So I'm still working on that. Just give me some time. Also, the great debate will be out for our members, and it'll eventually be released to our public. I will start. I promise. I keep saying it every week. I promise I'll start working on it. It will be out. So you go ahead and check that out. If you like that, or if you like anything, please let us know and we'll continue to do it. And as a reminder, we want to be, the show's premise, or at least the fantasy show, is an educational tool. So when we give you guys our fantasy takes, we are trying to educate the public, and we're trying to do our best to help you either win your league, make playoffs. Obviously, there's things that we can't control, like injuries and whatnot, or how you draft your players. But that's why our episodes like our draft kit, which we will do in August 2026, is important to help you set up your team as best as you can early on in the season, so you're not a waiver wire warrior throughout the season, which is still going to happen, but it's going to help you be in the best position you can to hopefully make playoffs and have a shot at winning your league's championship. But until next time, everybody, peace.
Later.